Welcome back to our health coaching course. We are in the intermediate level course, and today we're going to be discussing goals. I am Dr. Cooper-Dockery, board certified in internal medicine. I hope that you have been learning much and that you already start implementing what you're learning, whether in your own life or the life of your family, or maybe a client already. Now, goals. Goals are so important. You have to educate your clients on how to set goals early as you start working with them. Because if you don't have goals, then you don't know how to gauge your coaching experience with your clients. So, goals, setting goals. You know, every year we all set goals. But by the end of the first month, we realize that maybe we've broken some of our goals. In order to lead someone to a successful, healthy lifestyle, then we have to help them set realistic goals. We don't want them to be a statistic. 66% of all New Year's goals are broken early. So we want to make sure that we get them to where they should be in the desired amount of time. So two of the most important reasons why people, abandon their New Year's goals. One, not enough time, and that it is difficult. That is the reason why realistic goal setting is important. So someone said that everything is impossible until it's done. That's Da Vinci. Da Vinci was a Renaissance visionary who saw the possible in the world at the time when they were still considered impossible. So we have to assist our clients or our patient understand that though it might be difficult, it might appears impossible, but it can be a reality. So if they're overweight, if they're on many drugs and want to get rid of some of them and they think it's impossible, we need to let them know that there is hope. Because in the Bible it says that, but Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. I had a patient with diabetes and I just couldn't get him to control his blood sugar. And then one day he came and he said, Dr. Cooper, my sugars are low, and I got so frightened. I said, what are you doing differently? He said, I started to read my Bible. So with divine help, things that are impossible will be possible. We need to allow our patient to dream big. They might be 100 pounds overweight, and it might appear impossible. Or they might be on insulin and they think they cannot get off the insulin. But they have to set big goals for themselves. They must dream big, because only big dreams have the power to move man's soul. That Marcus Aurelius said that. You need to dream big. If you dream big, then the patient or yourself, you're going to work very hard to get to that goal. Your goals have to be worth your while. Why are you thinking of losing 10 pounds when you could lose 50 or 100 pounds? You have to dream big. Why are you thinking of getting off one diabetes pill when you or your patient can get off all diabetes pill? So the goal should be big. They should worth your while so that you will want to work hard to get to the goal. When a person set a goal, it is usually always involve additional work. It usually involves additional work, risk, and effort. People set themselves up for failure by thinking too small. As I said, you need to dream big. Don't believe that you cannot get off this blood pressure medication. Or don't allow your patient or your client to think that they can get off the drug. They can if they put the effort. They put the time to eat healthy, to lose weight, to exercise, to manage your stress. So let us realize that if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. That's from Fred DeVito. It must challenge you in order to create a change. You know, some patients are overweight because of food addiction, and they believe, I cannot get off this food. But you have to help your patient or your client to see why they're addicted to the food and why they need to get off. And it might be difficult, but they have to work. It is going to be a challenge, but they need to work very hard to get off, because quitting is not an option. If you want to achieve health and longevity, then you must take out of your mind or the mind of your client to quit halfway. Quitting is not an option, or else then total holistic health will not be in the picture. The tragedy in life does not lie in not reaching your goals, but in not having goals to reach. So as you begin to educate your clients, you must first sit with them and see what the problems are. Sit with them and set goals. And the goals should be realistic, but they should be big to challenge and move the soul. So how do goal setting affect one's health? Well, health is a choice. You must choose to be healthy. You must choose to eat differently. You must choose to exercise. You must choose to lose weight. But there has to be a formula. What is the formula you need? Well, then you need to decide, well, what's my goal? Do I want to lose weight? Yes. How much weight do I want to lose? Over what time? How much per week, per month? How long is it going to take? So the goal should be specific, it should be time sensitive, it should be measurable, and it should be realistic. You need to help your patient or your client to understand that there has to be a winning formula. So first they're going to choose, all right, so I'm overweight, I want to lose pounds. I want to lose some weight. The amount of weight, the time, they're going to be measuring the weight on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and you need to set up a cutoff time. Over what time will this happen? The same for diabetes, the same for high blood pressure. But setting goals should be or is very important. We do not plan to fail, we fail to plan. In anything in life, you must have a plan to reach there. If you want to be a doctor, there has to be a plan. You're going to do well in high school, go to college, do the MCAT, do well in the MCAT, then you're going to study medicine, then of course specializing, but there has to be a plan in anything. All successful people have plans. All successful people dream big. All successful people take the challenge. So think about setting sharp and clearly defined goals. Help your clients to set sharp but defined goals, measurable goals, and there has to be a time limit. Writing the goal down make a difference. So as they write their goals down, they're going to make a difference. They're going to have big goals, then they're going to have mini goals, and they will then take 1 step, 2 step, 3 step towards the goal. You know, patients will come in and they want to lose weight and become healthier, but they have no clear goals. They're not ready to lose the weight or to achieve their goals, and that is a problem. So you have to walk with them to reaching their goal. Set your goals on a number of levels. Create your big picture of what you want. Break these down into smaller and more targeted goals and start working to achieve these goals. So you have the big picture. Hey, I want to do medicine. Then how do you get there? You have these mini goals, high school, college, good MCAT score. And then, of course, you start thinking how you're going to get there. Same thing with health. All right? So I want to get off these diabetes pills. How are we going to do that? You're going to sit with the patient, assess why they're diabetic. Do they have type 2 diabetes? Are they overweight? What is the real problem? Do they eat unhealthily? And you're going to write these goals down with them, and you're going to walk with them through these goals. And of course, they'll start feeling better as they notice the difference. You know, it is believed that those patients who are very overweight, that are successful in losing weight, are the ones that are more involved. They will check their weight down, they document. And as they document and see the benefits, then they're more motivated to continue. So that is how you're going to encourage your clients or your patient to achieve their healthcare goals. Do the difficult things while they're easy to be done. A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. So you help them. Help them see that, yeah, attaining good health is really a challenge. You know, many people who lose weight tend to regain the weight if they don't change lifestyle. So it is a challenge. But don't be afraid to take the first step. And as you take the first step and you meet your mini goal, then you should reward yourself. So you advise your clients or your patient to reward themselves as they attain these goals. It is always a good idea to start small and go from there. That's a great idea. Growth is important. So you let them see. Don't start from the top down. Start from the bottom up. Short-term goals are a good way to help you keep focused and be motivated. Because as I said earlier on, as you continue to achieve your goal, you will be motivated to keep going. Being too busy is an imaginary state of mind. People will always make time for the things that are really, really, really important in their lives. Exercise is one that you're going to realize that the clients might have problem with. But you tell them it's really imaginary if they say they don't have time. If they have a sedentary job, they can sit actively. You're going to learn that in the section, or you probably learned it already on the section on exercise. Sit actively, okay? Move around, get up and walk. Or in the early morning, put your exercise in first. So you make time for the important thing. Pack your meals. Make time to pack the meals, or else there's going to be a problem with grabbing what's available. So you need to make time for what is important as you move towards this state of good health, or as you coach your patients towards a state of good health. Let them know that they should not be afraid to ask for help. We all are going to fall. But the important thing is that the number of times that they have fallen, or as you're falling, but how many times have you gone up? And who have you reached out to? So help is always on the way, but you must seek help as you try to coach your patient, or for you yourself to become healthy. Again, in Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So men may say it's impossible, but with the divine, with God, all things are possible. If you reach out to him, then you will be guided on your way to health and longevity. Goal setting is a powerful process for thinking about what you want in your future to look like, or where you want to be further along down the road. So in everything in life, not only health, but in wealth, in education, you must set goals. Goals that will help you along your way to become successful. Who do you want to be, and how will you get there? That is the questions you're going to be answering, and that will lead you to setting your goals. You want to be healthier? Let's set healthier goals. And remember, when we talk about healthcare goals, we're not speaking about a diet for a month or a week, but these are habits that you will develop and use for a long time, for life. So I ask you to stay focused. Fix your eyes on the target. and you will get to the end point. You will indeed reach your goal. What are you waiting for? Ready, set, go. I hope that this lecture was enlightening and that you're motivated to take your patients and your client and yourself along the path to complete health and happiness. And I will see you at the next lecture.